Hello everyone, you're very welcome to Pitch Your Nature-Based Enterprise, or Pitch at Poznan. So for those of you that were with us yesterday, you're familiar with the setup, but hopefully for those of you joining us just for the first time today, you'll be enthralled by what you're going to hear. So we're Isabel Fletcher and Esme Creechman, my colleague. We are your facilitators and chairs for this session, and we both work with Horizon NUA, who manage the Connecting Nature Enterprise platform, where the 5 great enterprises you're going to hear from today are members of. Esme also works part-time with Trinity College Dublin and is a lead researcher when it comes to nature-based enterprise and all things entrepreneurship. Esme.
Yes, thank you, Isabel. I just wanted to tell you a bit about the Connecting Nature Enterprise platform for the people that are not familiar with this platform. So this platform is a community for nature-based enterprises, but also a marketplace for the suppliers of nature-based solutions. And now you might be thinking, what is a nature-based enterprise? Hopefully not if you've joined the sessions during those 2 days, but I can quickly summarize it again. So nature-based enterprises are businesses or organizations who use nature sustainably at the core of everything they do. And with this have a positive impact on nature, biodiversity and local economies. And nature-based enterprises operate in different sectors, and we have different type of sectors on the Connecting Nature Enterprise platform as well. And if you've joined the community practice sessions yesterday, you might have had a deeper insight into what kind of companies and what kind of sectors are in those are they as well? Yeah. And I also want to take the chance now for if you're not on the platform yet, please feel free to register after the pitch session, of course.
Great, thanks, Esme. I don't know, hopefully many of you were here yesterday and you heard the policy dialogue, but we know that it came up during the policy dialogue yesterday that there's a definite sort of shortage and a difficulty in meeting the demand for nature-based solutions. And there's a shortage of suitably skilled nature-based enterprises out there. And cities and developers are, have discovered a roadblock when it comes to finding the right nature-based enterprises. So in this session, we'd like to show you the diversity of enterprises that feature on the Nature-Based Enterprise platform. And we're going to give the floor over to them now to pitch their innovative businesses, projects, products or services. You're going to hear from some new enterprises, you'll hear from some more established enterprises. I think they all have a very compelling story to tell. So over to Esme now to say how the session will run.
Yes, so the pitch works as follows. So each enterprise has 3 minutes to present their business, product, service or innovation. And as time is tight, we will stop them at exactly 3 minutes. There will be a clock on the screen as well. And if you have a question or comment for any of the companies pitching today, you can ask them in the chat or see them after in one of their expo booths. Yeah, I think we're ready for our first pitcher. So the first, so the first pitcher is Marco Berni from Start Park, based in Italy. So Marco, you have 3 minutes. Take it away.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I am Marco Berni from Star Park, and I will briefly pitch our idea, our project actually, that is called Star Park. Star Park is a service that is meant to co-design green and blue infrastructure in urban parks. Star Park was born as a bottom-up project from a multidisciplinary team in Florence. And with Star Park, we deal with climate change adaptation strategies and green and blue infrastructure intertwining dimension of collaborative design and gamification in order to provide new solutions and new, let's say, futures for cities. So if let's say that with Star Park we are able to go through a design thinking process where we start from research, social research on the territory, and understanding which are the peculiarities of these urban parks, and from this we are able to co-design with local communities new planimetry, new technical plans of parks that are based on green blue infrastructure. At the end of this process, that has also an educational side, because while co-designing with people resilient urban parks, we diffuse resilient practices and other types of nature-based let's say concept. So while doing this we are able to arrive to a new planimetry of these parks. After these steps we prototype and we deliver to public administrations or private organization a full report with let's say final technical and economical feasibility plans in order to transform their parks and to adapt their park in resilient parks. Star Park has been awarded by two international let's say prize challenge. One is the Climaton Awards in 2021, and one is the CMI Resilient Territories contest, where we were awarded for the Sustainable Tourism Award. So this is Star Park. We are now adapting is in other cities.
Sorry.
And
Sorry,
yes.
Marco, but we have to stop you there because your 3 minutes are over, unfortunately. But I think you gave quite a good overview of what Star Park is, and we do have time for one question, and you have 1 minute to answer that. So, yeah, I was actually wondering, because you mentioned in your application that you've prototyped your Star Park in 2 Italian cities, and I was wondering, what is the next step for you, and are you planning to scale to other countries as well?
Okay. Yeah, actually, we are working exactly to this kind of strategies. One of the scaling assessment that we are doing right now is on the gamification part of Star Park. So we use a game in order to co-design with people. And through the optimization of this game, we are we now want to scale in other countries. So trying to offer this kind of approach, a gamified approach, in order to co-design and imagine new kind of parks. So yeah, we are working on this, and we hopefully will make it soon. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Isabel, we cannot hear you for some reason.
My microphone is muted. I should have learned by this stage to unmute myself. Anyway, next up is Jesus Iglesias Sogar from Social Climate in Malaga in Spain. Jesus, over to you.
Jesus, apologies. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Sorry about that. So thank you to the organizers. This is Jesus Iglesias from Spain. I work at a cooperative called Social Climate. We're based in Malaga, in southern Spain. So I'm going to present 2 projects. One is the Climate Journey. This is a responsible tourism initiative which fosters community engagement through walking tours around cities or rural areas, to actually showcase on the ground the impacts, causes, connections, and solutions to the climate crisis. When we speak about solutions, we talk about nature-based solutions, but also local economy initiatives, earth and culture, and social mobilization initiatives as well. And we do so through a systemic, complex, and intersectional perspective. And at the end of the journey, we provide an action plan, a local action plan, to be part of the climate solution to participants. So that's number one project. Second project is an eco-neighborhood project in the Lagunillas neighborhood in Malaga, which is a very peculiar neighborhood which faces several climate crisis problems, also gentrification and touristification. And in that neighborhood, there are also some opportunities as a result of the pandemic crisis. And so we open in a series of social businesses that are interconnected. And it starts from an agri-food local store that has been operating in the neighborhood for 2 years. Right in front of it, there was a cafeteria that closed down during the pandemic. So there, we're going to open a new cafeteria by using the produce from the local agri-food store next door. And on top of it, there's a flat that was emptied recently. And we're going to launch an incubator and a co-working space in there focused on nature-based solutions projects and local economy initiatives. So we're going to actually incubate social entrepreneurship projects that are focuses on rewilding the city and actually contributing to the local economy. And on top of the flat, on the rooftop, actually we're going to re-green it to contribute to a green corridor across the city to rewild the city and have wildlife come back into the city as well. That's also an important part. And this is all connected to a rural space we've got in a town nearby, Cártama. The place is called Lemon Ranch, Rancho Limón in Spanish. And so we want to make the connection between the rural and urban worlds in terms of environmental education, but also in terms of food. So people know where the food comes from. And so we also make sure we contribute to sustainable rural development as well by interconnecting producers in the rural world with consumers in more urban spaces. So this is it, these two projects. One is a transition project, the climate journey. We render visible existing solutions. And one is a new economy project, an eco-neighborhood initiative. Thank you very much. I stay at your disposal for questions. Thank you.
Super, Jesus. Thank you very much for that great presentation. And actually, both Esme and I have been to Lagunillas in Malaga when we were out with Connecting Nature last September. So we're very familiar with the community that you're talking about. And it's great to hear that the initiative has come on so far in their plans since we were out there. But I actually have a quick question for you on your other project on the community tours, and it's around community engagement, because I'm interested in hearing you talk about it being a tourist sort of enterprise or initiative. And my question is there much local engagement in terms of these tours? And if so, what is the retention of local people? How do they get involved in the projects in the community afterwards, or do they?
So good question, thank you. So most of our participants of the climate journey are actually residents, local people. Okay. Less than half of them are tourists actually. And we also engage a lot the local communities in terms of social initiatives that exist. They're collaborators. They also receive part of the revenue that we generate. We actually showcase the initiatives so people can know where to buy local food or where to contribute to an urban garden, etc. So we do collaborate with the local ecosystem. Most of our participants are residents, but we're also trying to inspire tourists so they can, be part of their solutions and look for similar initiatives back in their towns after the holidays.
Great. Thanks so much for that.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.
Great. Yeah, thank you. That was a very interesting presentation. So our third pitch is from Rachel. And Rachel, hi, there you are, is from Edinburgh, Scotland. And especially welcome to Rachel because she's also in the very first nature-based accelerator program that's part that's located in Scotland as well. So yeah, Rachel, take it away.
Okay, can you hear me? Hi, I am Rachel Post from Lausanne. Now let's travel back in time to 1612. Witch trials are being held in the north of England. Galileo has discovered Neptune, and the Dutchman Emanuel Sweerts has just printed the very first garden catalogue. 400 years later, the world has changed dramatically. So why are we still buying plants the same way? Seed companies even design their websites to look like catalogs. But there's a better way to buy plants online. Seed shopping should be as easy as shopping for shoes. So let's take a moment to think about your relationship with plants. If you're a beginning gardener, you may want something cheap, easy to grow, hard to kill. If you're an experienced gardener, you may want rare heirloom tomato seeds grown organically by a local company. And no one wants to spend hours researching online. So how do you choose what plants are best for you? I've examined 140 seed companies in a dozen countries, and none use software to recommend plants or to match them with local growing conditions. I mean, even basic information is missing. A bottle of wine often includes more information on taste and flavor than a seed packet. And Lucon is the solution for home gardeners. Very simply, we use data to tell you what plants to buy and where to buy them. We connect you with companies that sell the products you want, like open-pollinated, organic, or local varieties. And with our software, you won't have to look up climate data or try to decide between 100 different carrot varieties on your own. We even find rare plant varieties that preserve biodiversity for future generations. With Lucon, you'll spend less time shopping and more time in your garden. Now, Lucon is an early-stage startup, but it can grow rapidly with multiple revenue streams. For the first time ever, we'll know how many people are shopping for plants, where those people live, and what plants are most popular. And horticulture is not a small industry. Before the pandemic, there were more than 20 million active fruit, veg, and herb gardeners in the UK who spent £5 billion a year on their gardens. In 2020, UK seed companies had a 600% increase in sales, and 98% of new gardeners say they plan to keep growing. So Lucon will launch in the UK, and we intend to scale our software internationally. Plants and gardeners in South Africa, Spain, and Scotland have different needs and should not be treated the same way. Climate change has made gardening more challenging for everyone, and we must start to use horticultural data now. So we want your help to create the best shopping experience possible. If you're interested in testing our software when it becomes available, please sign up on our website today. And you can also email me directly to talk about opportunities for collaboration. So thanks for your time, and go get in your gardens if you can today. Thanks.
Great, Rachel. Thank you. That was a really good pitch, and I'm looking forward to for you to launch this, because like the plants in my garden are not doing well at the moment. So I would be very curious to see what I should plant.
The common problem.
But yeah, perhaps a short question about your pitch. You mentioned already that you're at quite an early stage of development, and I thought maybe it would be nice for you to get some feedback from the audience later in your expo booth. So is there anything you want feedback on, or anything you're looking for in particular that you want to ask to the audience now?
I mean, at this stage, I'd love for any and all feedback about the experiences people have looking for plants and shopping for plants. So I have several poll questions in my booth in the expo, so you can pop on over and answer those and tell me what your priorities are. I mean, do you want it to make it easier to comparison shop across companies, to look at different varieties, or even just to know what actually grows well in your environment? I mean, I love Scotland, but tomatoes don't exactly grow well here outdoors. And that's something that not every grower knows. So come on by, chat with me, and then connect on my website or by email later, and I'd love to talk to you.
Perfect, thank you.
Great, thanks.
Thanks, Rachel. So now our fourth pitcher today is Muin Nodi. I hope I have that pronunciation right. Muin is from Biotonomy in Malaga in Spain. So Muin, you have 3 minutes. Take it away.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Muin Nodi, and I am the founder of Biotonomy, where we develop nature-based solutions for architectural and construction projects around the world. We work both with new development projects, but also with reforming existing buildings. Our enterprise is based on a holistic approach for climate adapting buildings and for building resilience in both urban and rural areas. A fundamental part for climate adapting and building resilience in our buildings and communities is for us to start looking at the possibility of start relying less on long distance resources and services for our buildings and communities to operate. Instead, we are presenting a new way of designing and building our buildings, where buildings and communities instead are designed to operate as living ecosystems that are able to produce all their own resources and manage all their own waste locally on site. So we provide nature-based solutions that rely on the infrastructure of the natural world. Let me see if I can change slide here. So our nature-based solutions that we offer are following. A natural heating and cooling system that operates without using any electrical or mechanical components. A natural ventilation system that replaces the need for traditional conventional air conditioning. A water production system that harvests and filters water all the way to drinkable water quality. And a biological sewage treatment system that reuses all the wastewater to restore ecosystems. And an indoor food production system and a naturally sourced electricity system. So we believe that education is the main engine for change. So we put a lot of effort in educating people all around the world how to implement these nature-based solutions in their own projects. So therefore, we are seeking for collaborations in order to set up a physical academy campus where we can scale up our educational program, but also where we can develop research projects in order to scale up our solutions. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Great, thank you, Moen. Can I just say to everybody, if you have not been to the Bioautonomy booth, please go. Please look at the video, because I want to live in a bioautonomy house, having watched the video and stuff yesterday. It is just inspiring. But anyway, back to the pitch and back to my question for you. And I think you kind of alluded to it there, actually, in your wrap up, that you were saying you wanted to create R&D projects where your solutions can be scaled up to larger scale developments. What type of collaborations? Can you be a little bit more specific? What type of companies are you looking to collaborate with? Where are you looking to collaborate or do your R&D?
Right. Well, we are based in Spain, but we actually operate globally all around the world. So in terms of location, we're open to any location. And basically, I come from being involved in some of the biggest construction projects in the world. So I've always, in the back of my mind, building up this concept, I've been looking for how to scale this up. And we believe collaborations together with universities is important, where we can actually measure the data, because we've done this in real life and we know it works. But as any other nature-based solutions, we're lacking data. Yeah. So any projects where we can implement these and look at the data aspect would be very interesting. Okay, well, I know that there are loads of universities out there and people out there that will be biting your hand off to help you measure data and capture that. Many thanks, Moen. That was great. The last speaker of today is Angus Middleton from Viridian Logic, based in the UK. Over to you, Angus.
Right, thanks, Isabel. Well, it seems it is just me holding you back from the closing speeches or even going down the bar. So I will get straight to the point. We have invented a system that can save the entire planet and everyone on it. Kind of. Okay, so we all know about the twin nature and climate emergencies at the moment, at least theoretically, but they affect real people. So what our system really could do is help protect 2.7 billion real people from going thirsty and help lift 580 million people and their families out of poverty, also whilst improving the biodiversity across 1 billion hectares of farmland. A little ambitious, I hear you murmur, and you're right, it is. But here's how we'll do it. So at Vrillion, we have a great track record of using high-tech modeling to give simple answers to clients, showing them the best nature-based solutions to water problems. So stuff like flooding, drought, diffuse pollution, soils, and the likes. Now, our business partners, Groundworks in India, they also use sophisticated modeling to give simple answers, but they tell farmers exactly when and how much to irrigate so that they minimize their water use and maximize their crop yields. So, sorry, I just got things out. So anyway, so when we put these two systems together, we get some real magic happening. Through a simple app, we can advise farmers on the best nature-based solutions and irrigation so that they protect their crops, they improve their yields, and they become resilient to climate change. But they will also give a lot of benefits to their entire communities and even local cities through improving drinking water supplies, protecting against flooding, improving water quality, and much more besides. Now, the best bit about all of this is the fact that our system can be commercially profitable, even when we're paying subsistence farmers to create the nature-based solutions on their land. And this can be done because our system will accurately predict harvest times and quantities. It will reduce crop risks and quantify those risks. It will connect to farmers, gather insight on farm management practices, create carbon, biodiversity credits, and supply a whole raft of other ecosystem services, all of which can be monetized for ESG, crop insurance and finance, and the agri-food chain. So everybody wins, and this can be rolled out at scale across entire regions, and that benefits us all. So it seems we really may be able to save the planet and everyone on it. We're almost there. We just need a little bit of pump primer funding of maybe 200,000 euros. So together, we can make a huge difference to where it matters most in the planet. And we would like you to help us either with funding or anything else. Please contact me at Vrillion Logic, Angus Middleton. Thank you very much.
Well done, Angus. Bang on time.
Just about.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Angus. Great presentation. I have a question for you because I know that it might be quite difficult to find data for nature-based solutions. That's often a problem. And you mentioned that your system uses sophisticated modeling, but yeah, I wonder, where do you get the data for this?
Yeah, it is good question, because it's often not easy. We've got these two different systems that are coming together, and they work at different scales, but they feed beautifully into each other. So Groundworks put out sensors, soil sensors and weather sensors, very low cost things they can distribute around the area. And that fills any gaps that we need in satellite data, and we can feed the satellite data back to them. So we interact really well, and then through the app we can gather more data on what's going on and pictures of what's where and picture analysis. So our models are very robust, can work almost entirely on satellite data that's available and free, and these low-cost sensors, and then we can pick up an awful lot more as we go along and just make it richer and richer and better to give farmers all of these multiple benefits, and the rural communities all of these great things that we can give them.
Perfect.
Super.
Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, listen, thank you, Angus. Thank you, Moon. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Marco. And thank you, Rachel. Last but not least, Rachel, for wonderful presentations this afternoon. And I just hope that those of you watching kind of got a sense of the flavour and variety of the MBEs that we have on the platform, and that, you know, we hope to see much more of and see them scale up and grow in the future. So as Esme has said, you can follow up with all of them individually at their expo booths or send them a message. Now it's almost time for the closing session. So over to you, Esme, to wrap up here.
Yes, I just wanted to say that next on the program are the closing remarks. So just stay on the stage, I'd say. And after that, there's an opportunity to go networking again and meet the nature-based enterprises at their booth. So I think we are now going to the speakers from our closing session.